Get ready, speak.
Get ready, speak.
Get ready, speak.
Papa, I found someone who feels like he's the one.
I thought the Mathews were searching for peace. Mrs. Majula.
Lillian. You are not wife, of course.
I don't want to ever set my eyes on you.
Is it done?
The deal is done. Signed, sealed, and delivered. Do you think you'd ever live in the village?
I saw no harm in being friends with him.
In 41 and pass on my boss. I'll stay loyal to the boss and do what needs to be done.
This war began many generations ago.
People speculate that maybe because she was trying to get revenge for her husband.
Papa, I found someone who feels like he's the one.
I thought the Mathews were searching for peace. Mrs. Majula.
Lillian. You are not wife, of course.
I don't want to ever set my eyes on you.
Is it done?
The deal is done. Signed, sealed, and delivered. Do you think you'd ever live in the village?
I saw no harm in being friends with him.
In 41 and pass on my boss. I'll stay loyal to the boss and do what needs to be done.
This war began many generations ago.
People speculate that maybe because she was trying to get revenge for her husband.
Good evening, welcome back to our news updates. I am Chipepo Gracie and this is your Icu Tv news bulletin. Let's take a look at the stories making headlines. Zambia records over 11,000 GBV cases in first quarter of 2025, marking 15.2% increase. Female suspect dies in custody at Kabwata police station following medical complications. World Bank approves $33 million grant to boost Zambia's water supply and sanitation services. Pressure mounts to probe Kenya police and army after BBC Exposé. Zambia under-20 Intensify AFCON preparations as Mathews Banda misses training. And now, the details. A total of 11,177 gender-based violence GBV cases have been recorded across Zambia during the first quarter of 2025, reflecting an increase of 1,477 cases or 15.2% compared to the 9,700 documented during the same period in 2024. Police spokesperson Ray Hamonga said this rise may partly be attributed to improved public awareness and confidence in reporting, but it also underscores the persistent and growing challenge of GBV in communities across the country. Mr. Hamonga explains that 7,170 cases were classified as criminal, among them 29 murder cases, while the remaining 4,007 were categorized as non-criminal. He further reveals that children accounted for 2,474 victims, with 85.8% of these cases being criminal and girls representing the overwhelming majority, a trend that highlights the increased vulnerability of young female victims. Mr. Hamonga notes that physical abuse remains the most common form of GBV, with 3,881 cases reported, most of them assaults, occasioning actual bodily harm, and that women continued to bear the brunt of such violence. He emphasizes that the Zambian Police Service remains committed to addressing GBV through enhanced prevention strategies, stakeholder collaboration, victim support services, and continuous community engagement to promote reporting and accountability.
The Zambia Police Service wishes to inform the nation that during the first quarter of 2025, a total of 11,177 gender-based violence cases were recorded countrywide. This represents an increase of 1,477 cases, or 15.2% compared to 9,300 cases recorded during the same period in 2024. Of the total cases recorded, 7,170 cases were classified as criminal, while 4,007 cases were non-criminal in nature. The quarter also recorded 29 murder cases related to gender-based violence, the same number as the previous year in 2024. Out of the total cases recorded, 2,474 involved child victims. These were criminal in nature, with girls accounting for 73.4% of these cases, highlighting the vulnerability of female children to gender-based violence. Adults accounted for 77.8%, or 8,703 cases of gender-based violence victims. Of these, 7,185 were women and 1,518 were men, underscoring the continued disproportionate impact of gender-based violence on women. Physical abuse remained the most common form of gender-based violence, with 3,881 cases reported. Of these, 3,271 cases were assault occasioning actual bodily harm. This represents a 7.6% increase from the 3,041 cases reported in the first quarter of 2024. Among the assault OABH victims, 2,821 were women and 450 were men. Notably, there were 4 cases of grievous bodily harm involving 3 women and 1 boy. The quarter also recorded 1 case of attempted murder, reflecting a 50% decrease from the 2 cases recorded in the first quarter of 2024. Assault OABH by province, Lusaka recorded 727 cases, Western 538, Copperbelt 431, Southern 307, Eastern Province 304, Central 252, Wapula 238 cases, Northern 189 cases, Muchinga 179, Northern 88 cases, Tazara 8 cases, while Airport Division recorded new cases. A total of 2,029 cases of economic abuse were recorded. Of these, 935 cases involved failure to provide necessity for life, while 817 cases were related to neglect. Emotional or psychological abuse, there were 316 cases of emotional abuse reported. 112 involved insulting language, with 78 women and 27 men as victims. 108 cases of threatening violence were reported, where 80 victims were women and 27 were men. The first quarter of 2025 recorded 941 sexual offense cases, a slight decline from 972 cases in the first quarter of 2024. Key figures included child defilement with 667 cases, 71% of all sexual offenses, whilst 99.4 victims were girls and 0.6% boys. Rape cases, all were female, totaling 112 cases. Attempted rape, 24 cases, all female. Indecent assault, 62 cases, representing 75.8% women, while 19.4% girls and 4.5% were boys. Incest were 22 cases, of which were 63.6% girls and 31.8% women. Deferment by province: Lusaka province recorded 207 cases, Eastern 103, Southern 90 cases, Cobra Belt 70 cases, Northwestern 47 cases, Western 42 cases, Central 41 cases, Luapula 35 cases, Muchinga 16 cases, Northern 16 cases, Airport Division 2 cases, whilst Tazara recorded new cases. Gender-based violence criminal cases by province: Lusaka province recorded 1,596 cases, Western province 1,139, Copper Belt 1,058, Luapula 820, Eastern 661, Central 540, Southern 529, Northwestern province 361, Muchinga 248, Northern 144, and the Airport Division 151 cases.
A female suspect has died in custody at Kabwata police station following medical complications related to an illness she developed while under police guard. Police spokesperson Ray Hamonga said the suspect, Anna Kandonga, was one of the women arrested and charged with attempting to bribe officers in a case involving a suspect facing an incest charge. Mr. Hamonga said Ms. Kandonga began feeling unwell on April 23, 2025, and was transferred to the University Teaching Hospital after her condition worsened. He states that the medical records indicate her illness, which included high blood sugar levels, led to a coma before she passed away on April 28, 2025. Mr. Hamonga confirms that her body has been deposited at the mortuary pending a post-mortem examination. He further reaffirmed the Zambia Police Service's commitment to ensuring the welfare and rights of all individuals in custody, working closely with health authorities to provide necessary medical attention.
The Zambia Police Service wishes to update the public on the welfare of suspects in custody at Kabwata Police Station in relation to a case involving serious criminal offences. On the 4th of May 2025, Kabwata Police Station officially opened 2 dockets of conspiracy to defeat justice and interference with witnesses, as well as corrupt practice by or with private bodies. The 3 female suspects, namely Rebecca Mbewe, Anna Kandonga, and Suvia Musabantu, were arrested and jointly charged for attempting to bribe officers from the Victim Support Unit. The aim of the bribe was to facilitate the unlawful release of male Juma Banda, who is facing a charge of incest. The incident occurred within the premises of Kabwata Police Station. The background of the matter is that on the 28th of March 2025, male Juma Banda was apprehended and charged with incest after he was found to have sexually abused his biological daughter, aged 10 years old. Regrettably, we wish to inform the public that one of the suspects in the bribery case, identified as Anna Kandonga, passed away on Sunday, 28 April 2025, while under hospital care and police guard. According to medical records and police reports, the deceased began feeling unwell on the 23rd of April 2025, complaining of general body weakness and a painful throat. On the 24th of April 2025, medical personnel recommended further tests to her deteriorating condition. On the 26th of April 2025, she was taken to Kabwata Clinic after falling ill again, where her blood sugar levels were discovered to be abnormally high. She was subsequently referred to Challenge Level 1 Hospital. Her condition worsened on the 27th of April 2025, and she slipped into a coma. Sadly, around 12 hours on the 20th of April 2025, she succumbed to her illness while admitted to the investigating hospital. The deceased body has since been deposited in the investigating hospital mortuary, awaiting postmortem examination and burial arrangements. The Zambia Police Service remains committed to upholding the rights and welfare of all persons in custody and continues to work closely with the health authorities to ensure timely medical attention is provided to those in need of it. Thank you.
The World Bank has approved a $33 million grant to enhance Zambia's water supply and sanitation services, focusing on governance, operational efficiency, and expanding access to clean water. The grant provided by the International Development Association, ITA, will fund the water supply and sanitation services in growth centers program, which will target selected utilities including Kafubu, Luapula North, Western, and Western. World Bank Country Manager for Zambia, Akim Fox, says the program will be implemented by the Ministry of Water and Development, Sanitation, in collaboration with the commercial utilities and the National Water Supply Sanitation Council, NWASCO, the country's water and sanitation regulator. Mr. Fogg emphasized that the initiative aims to improve sector governance, enhance operational efficiency, and ensure the long-term sustainability of water and sanitation services. He also notes that the program will address key challenges in Zambia's water and sanitation sector, including improving transparency, refining budget allocation, and enhancing board practices, adding that it will focus on upgrading billing systems, reducing water losses, and expanding services like household connections and latrines. Meanwhile, World Bank Senior Water Supply Sanitation Specialist and Task Team Leader Ousmane Yidaya Bokum highlighted that the program will also promote gender equality by supporting women's employment and leadership roles with the water sector. Mr. Yaya adds that it will enhance climate change adaptation and resilience, ensuring the services remain robust amid climate impacts. He also notes that the Zambia Water Supply and Sanitation Services in Growth Center program is expected to significantly reduce waterborne diseases and improve health outcomes by expanding services to rural communities and growth centers. Mr. Yaya further revealed that the program will also improve utilities, financial sustainability, and governance by reducing commercial and physical water losses. The International Development Association, IDA, a part of the World Bank, established the poorest countries by providing grants and low-interest loans to promote economic growth, reduce poverty, and improve living standards. We now take our first break. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Did you know that mental health conditions are treatable and recovery is possible? Hi, I'm Ngenia Febamoyo. I'm your host on Let's Talk Mental Health. I invite you all to this show where you freely express yourself and together we find a solution. For more details, you can contact 0777 93 73 92 and we'll be there to help you find solutions to whatever you're going through.
Welcome to the Zambia Research and Development Center, an institution dedicated to national development through capacity building and community development. Established in 2007 by a group of professionals and lecturers, ZRDC has since become a hub of research and innovation in the country. Registered with the Ministry of Home Affairs under the Registrar of Societies, ZRDC pursues cutting-edge research to address pressing social and economic challenges. Get involved. ZRDC engages in activities that stimulate international collaboration, promote knowledge sharing, and make research expertise available to decision makers. Our mission at ZRDC is to foster innovation and capacity building for national development. We believe in addressing poverty and underdevelopment through institutional and capacity building, human empowerment, and gender participation. In our quest to foster innovation and capacity building for national development, ZRDC launched the ZRDC University Sponsorship for Capacity Building and Development Program to facilitate knowledge advancement among ZRDC researchers and those intending to join the research community. Qualified Zambian citizens can pursue education at credible universities in Zambia with guaranteed prospects of joining the ZRDC research community. ZRDC engages in industrial and technological research, covering research development and innovative investigations to drive dynamic industrial development at national and regional levels. Join us at the Zambia Research and Development Center as we continue to innovate, empower, and shape a brighter future for Zambia. ZRDC, fostering innovation and capacity building for national development.
In our local stories, 3 men have tragically taken their own lives in separate incidents across Katete, Nyimba and Lusangazi in Eastern Province, which has been experiencing an alarming rise in suicide rates. The first individual, a 41-year-old Stephen Banda from Katete, reportedly hanged himself from a tree over the weekend. According to a statement from Robertson Mwimba, the commanding officer of the Eastern Province Police, Mr. Banda, a resident of Songwe village, was last seen on Saturday afternoon visibly intoxicated in the village. In Nyimba, the second victim, identified as 26-year-old Sengeleti Tembo from Saulo village, is believed to have taken his own life sometime between Sunday and yesterday. The Ministry of Education has officially launched the National Remedial Learning Guidelines aimed at enhancing literacy and supporting learners who need extra assistance to meet grade-level expectations. Developed with support of UNICEF, the guidelines are set to take effect immediately and represent a significant step forward in government's ongoing efforts to improve quality of education for all children. The Ministry of Education says the newly introduced National Remedial Learning Guidelines offer a structured approach to identifying, supporting learners with low proficiency in literacy and numeracy, focusing on students in grade 1 to 4. Those guidelines emphasize the use of diagnostic tools for early identifications and interventions with accessible learning modalities such as print, digital, and peer-assisted learning. They are designated to address challenges such as absenteeism, language barriers, and socio-economic hardship, aiming to close learning gaps and promote digital inclusion. Aligned with the Ministry's Vision 2025, the guidelines will help equip students with the necessary skills for academic and professional success. 4 men accused of murdering Independent Broadcasting Authority (IBA) Director General Gantila Mlea appeared before the Lusaka High Court this morning, where the case was once again adjourned, this time to next month. The delay prompted a stern warning from High Court Judge Vincent Siloka, who said he would no longer entertain what he described as flimsy applications for postponement. He expressed disappointment with the prosecution for failing to proceed with the trial despite his earlier instructions that the matter should commence without further delay. The accused are Samuel Dokwe, a systems engineer, IBA accountant, Francis Chipioka, age 42, and police officers Ntusani Dokwe, age 29, and Alex Zulu, age 30. The 4 are charged with the murder of Mr. Mulea on July 23, 2024 in Lusaka. His body was discovered the following day in the Njolwe area after being reported missing by his family. He was last seen leaving work on the evening of July 23rd. The case is now scheduled to resume next month, with court making it clear that any further delays will not be tolerated. You are still watching Icu Tv main news. We'll take a short break, and coming up next is international and sports news. Stay tuned.
Papa, I found someone who feels like he's the one.
I thought the Machelas were searching for peace.
What's up, son? Hey, one should tell.
Mrs. Majula.
Lillian. You are not your wife, of course.
I don't want to ever set my eyes on you.
Is it done?
The deal is done. Signed, sealed, and delivered. Do you think you'd ever live in the village?
I saw no harm in being friends with him.
Aim for 200% my boss. I'll stay loyal to the boss and do what needs to be done.
This war began many generations ago.
People speculate that maybe because she was trying to get revenge for her husband.
In international news, leading human rights organizations have renewed calls for investigations into the killing of protesters by Kenya's security forces during demonstrations against a rise in taxes last June. It follows a BBC Africa Eye investigation exposing members of the security forces who shot dead 3 protesters at Kenya's parliament, igniting public outrage and demands for justice. Amnesty International and Kenya Human Rights Commission said the officers identified in the documentary should face the law. Kenya's government spokesperson has responded by saying every life is important. The police watchdog is conducting an investigation and criticized the BBC documentary for being one-sided. We are still in international news. Prosecutors have dropped some of the charges against an Australian woman accused of killing 3 relatives and seriously injuring another with a toxic mushroom lunch. Erin Peterson will no longer face trial over allegations that she attempted to murder her husband after those charges were withdrawn. She still faces 4 charges, 3 counts of murder and 1 of attempted murder. The 50-year-old has always maintained her innocence and pleaded not guilty. Her trial is set to begin in the Supreme Court of Victoria on Wednesday. 3 people died in hospital days after July 2023 lunch, including Peterson's former in-laws, Don Peterson, 70, and Gail Peterson, 70 as well. Gail's sister, Heather Wingson, 66. Heather's husband, 68-year-old Baptist Pastor Ian Wingson, survived after weeks of treatment in hospital. The jury has been selected and is receiving instructions from the judge ahead of opening statements, which are expected on Wednesday. We take another break. Stay tuned for sports news.
At the Information and Communications University, we're not just educating students, we're shaping the future of Zambia and beyond. With a global perspective, ICU offers cutting-edge programs in information technology, business, humanities, engineering, and education. We combine theory with practical skills, ensuring our graduates are ready for the job market.
Whether full-time or distance learning, our flexible programs cater to the needs of every student, creating pathways for success. ICU is driven by innovation, research, and entrepreneurship.
We empower our students to be leaders and change makers in their industries.
Through strategic global partnership, including collaboration with leading universities such as St. Petersburg State University and others, we give our students a competitive edge on the global stage.
Our graduates don't just earn degrees, they create impact. They are leading the way in ICT, business, engineering, and more, both locally and internationally. Join the Information and Communications University, where your future begins today.
And in sports news, the Zambia men's under-20 national team ramped up their preparations for Saturday's match against Egypt with an intense training session at the Tolip Annex 1 training facility. Head coach Boyd Mulwanda and his technical staff led the team through various drills, although injured defender Mathews Banda sat out due to a knock sustained in the 0-0 draw with Sierra Leone, while he limped off in the 40th minute. Zambia is eager to improve on their disappointing 2023 AFCON performance, where they failed to win a match and finished at the bottom of Group C with just 1 point. In the opening match of Group A, host Egypt secured a 1-0 victory over South Africa to top up standings, while Zambia and Sierra Leone each have 1 point. Tanzania sits at the bottom of the table, yet to play a match. Meanwhile, Zambia under-20 team Dr. Aaron Mukondia has confirmed that the squad is in good health and ahead of their second group stage match at the under-20 AFCON against Egypt on Saturday, 3rd May 2025. He notes that a few players sustained minor knocks in the previous match but are recovering well and expected to be available for selection. The medical team continues to monitor the players closely to ensure full fitness for the upcoming fixture.
Great shape. The team is training well. I can say we are at almost 100%, except for two players, Sawowo and Mathews. As you said in the previous game that we had, Mathews sustained an injury, calf injury. It's a minor one. So we rested him, and we should be starting rehab for him. Possibly tomorrow. Joseph also had a knock in that game, and he has been receiving therapy, and today at least he managed to do light training. So by the end of this week, we should be back to full recovery with him. The rest of the squad is perfectly well. Everyone is training well. Everyone is in good shape.
That sports item brings us to the end of our main news, but before we go, let's take a quick look at the recap of the headlines. Zambia records 11,000 GBV cases in first quarter of 2025, marking 15.2% increase. Female suspect dies in custody at Kabwata police station following medical complications. World Bank approves 33 million grant to boost Zambia's water supply and sanitation services. Pressure mounts to probe Kenya police and army after BBC Exposé. Zambia under-20 intensify AFCON preparations as Banda misses training. Thank you so much for staying with us. For more news updates, visit our Facebook page, Icu TV, or our website, icutvzm.com. See you next time.
At the Information and Communications University, we're not just educating students, we're shaping the future of Zambia and beyond. With a global perspective, ICU offers cutting-edge programs in information technology, business, humanities, engineering, and education. We combine theory with practical skills, ensuring our graduates are ready for the job market.
Whether full-time or distance learning, our flexible programs cater to the needs of every student, creating pathways for success. ICU is driven by innovation, research, and entrepreneurship.
We empower our students to be leaders and change makers in their industries.
Through strategic global partnership, including collaboration with leading universities such as St. Petersburg State University and others, we give our students a competitive edge on the global stage.
Our graduates don't just earn degrees, they create impact. They are leading the way in ICT, business, engineering, and more, both locally and internationally. Join the Information and Communications University, where your future begins today.